Hey, Mike Cofer here. I was just gonna tell you, I just watched this video, and I've been in institutions where I saw the police beat people up for no reason. I actually watched a cop do that in Pasco County in Land O'Lakes Jail. I've watched police officers do it to me on the side of the road more than one occasion for nothing. Literally, I was walking with a Bible. Uh, and they said I looked like somebody. Um, all I had was a Bible. After they beat me up and they found it, they were kind of confused as to what they were going to say. They ended up saying one time in Texas, they said that it was aggravated assault on a police officer. They tried to give me 10 years for that. I was found not guilty after 9 months, and all the charges were dropped or thrown out of court by the judge, rather. But I did time. Actually, a police officer picked me up for crying in a garden one time when I was praying. I started crying, and someone called the police. Yes, it's illegal to pray. They took me off the street, said that they were afraid I was going to hurt myself or somebody else. And when I got thrown into an institution, a detox center, they thought I was on drugs, which I wasn't. If I would have been, I probably wouldn't have been crying. Actually, if I would have been able to have my sacrament, but anyway, I got put in that institution, and in the middle of the night one night, I heard a bunch of crying, so I kind of snuck out of my room and went down the hall to find out what was going on, and I found a guy in the seclusion room being raped by one of the nurses. So fearful because I was locked inside of the place that I didn't know what to do. I ran. I've hated myself since then because I didn't at least knock on the door before I did to save the guy from the humiliation and the suffering and the torture of being raped. Still hate myself over that, but what can I do? I mean, if I'd have been caught, could have been me, you know. Not that that's an excuse. I should have put myself in his shoes. But anyway, yeah, this is the most inhumane treatment. I mean, for them to think that they're allowed to use that much force to order us as though we're militant people ourselves, like we've been trained to be military. We should know how to crawl, you know. We should know how to be obedient, you know. Well, you know, our obedience is to our God and not to any man. So, and the law is not man, you know, wherein they stand up to try to enact themselves as God. They should be held to much higher standard, obviously, and not be allowed to use brute force to draw anyone into submission. They have the ability to create a maze with walls that could draw men into a submissive arena without having to use dogs, without having to use weapons, without having to get into riot gear, without even having to use people. You can cause men to follow down a hall if you are smart at all, but no, we would rather use violence. We would rather use force. We would rather be assholes because we get a joy out of that somehow because we're taught that in the military. You know, we have the DI yelling in our face. It's not a bad thing that someone yells, according to the teachings that they've gone through, but if you raise your voice in a monastery, think of it. You know, you're invading with brute force just by yelling, and that's a sin. So, what of these people that are not in jail for anything they actually did, but for things that they didn't do, and now these police are coming in and brutalizing God's spirit in His own temples? This is so sinful. It's unbelievable that I can't believe that the government even allows it to be on YouTube. Honestly, uh, I or in that movie. I think that we should show everybody across the nation. I think the United Nations should pick this up and really do a checking of all these police states that are being created. Anyway, Jesus Fish signing off.